coming. And thank you for showing once again that there is not just appetite, but there is power, there is energy behind a progressive message and championing of economic, social, and racial justice for working class people. I just got in earlier today. Ooh, that's the buzzy noise. Okay. I just got in earlier today. I am leaving a little bit early tomorrow, to my sadness. I wish I could stay a little bit longer, but it was so important for me to come out here and to join you all and to be here and to share in your strength and to share in the solidarity, because together we are going to change this nation. It's a real honor to be here, and to be here particularly to support Kaniela and to support this whole movement here on Hawaii. As was mentioned, I feel a lot of commonality. This place is half a world away from New York and the Bronx, and there are a lot of aspects that don't look like New York and the Bronx. But I know that this is in many ways a home and a kindred home, because I know that I also, as Cara had mentioned, I come from a place of a colonized people. And as a Puerto Rican woman, I fully understand and have seen the consequences on my family. I have seen the consequences on our people and our island of what happens when we allow corporate lobbyists to take over and profit off of the despair of working people. And I'm here in Hawaii to say, it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen here. And it's not because of me, but it's because of everybody here that is in this room today. It is because this movement is alive and it is well, not just in Hawaii, but also in the Bronx, in New York, in Kansas, in Michigan, in St. Louis, in California. Because everywhere, all across this country, everyday working people are standing up and saying, we can have Medicare for all. We can have tuition-free public college. We can save our families. We can do these things. But we can only do them if we work for them, if we organize for them, if we knock on our neighbor's door, if we talk to our family members and say, this is actually something worth voting for once. Kaniela and I first, I think, became introduced to one another many months ago, way before our election here in New York. And it's because we were both co-endorsed by Justice Democrats. And it was that early on that I first heard of Kaniela's story. And as I heard more of Kaniela's story, I heard more of my own story. It felt like my own story was being told to me. I grew up in a working class family. My father, struggled to open a small business of his own. He was born in the Bronx, and my mother was born in Puerto Rico. Most of my family is in Puerto Rico to this day. And so, like Kaniela, I think we come from a family and a place that had been colonized. But also, as my parents moved to the mainland, and as they moved to the Bronx and Puerto Rico, we struggled as a working class family. And like Kaniela, my father passed away at an early age. And like Kaniela, as earlier than any child should, we both found ourselves working second jobs to help our parents and to help our families make ends meet. Kaniela in the pineapple fields and in resorts, and I behind bars and bartending in downtown New York City. And so an entire world away, we were leading the same life. We were leading the same circumstances, shaped by the same exact forces. And those forces oftentimes were runaway income inequality, in unaddressed history of imperialism and poverty. And so we were generations in now to this day, in this new millennium, in the 2000 to 2018, we were still leading and having to deal with the consequences of those struggles. And while the entire country wants to forget that history, we're not allowed to. We're not afforded that privilege. I am not afforded the privilege, as my family is still picking up the tatters of Hurricane Maria. I am not afforded the privilege of forgetting about the colonial history of our island. I am not afforded that. And neither is Kaniela, and neither is Hawaii. I am not afforded the luxury of forgetting the fact that luxury real estate developers have purchased and captured many of the political machines in New York City and have worked against the interests of working class people. I do not have the privilege of forgetting that, and neither does Hawaii. And like Kaniela and I think it's very unsurprising, because this is what the truth does. The truth plants itself a world away and yields the same conclusion wherever it goes. That is what the truth is about. And so just like Kaniela and myself, we turn to organizing. We turn to community organizing. And the two of us both ran campaigns without corporate money on a staunch and unapologetic message of economic justice for working people. And it is not a coincidence that a young man who worked on the pineapple fields to a Hawaiian family and a young girl who cut her teeth behind a bar in downtown Manhattan both ended up in the same place fighting for the same exact thing. That is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. That is what truth looks like. That is what justice looks like. And that is what the future of this country looks like. And that is why I am here today. That is why I took that flight and got on this plane here today. Because every single person that is in this room, packing this room for that movement, is fighting for our future, is fighting for causes that are not just going to be decided in 2 days. In fact, they won't be decided in 2 days. They will be decided for generations. And so long as we are engaged in that fight, then we can be proud of the work that we are doing here on this earth. Our fight, and the fight for healthcare, housing, education, to save our planet from climate change, to end unlimited war, is the right thing to do. But that fight is so much bigger than any one of us individually. It's so much bigger than any one of us individually. In that fight, I know that I am but a drop of water. And Kaniela is just a drop of water. And each and every single one of us is just a drop of water. But together we make a wave. Yep. That is what we do. It is only possible when we come together and generate that power of a collective vision. And that is why other people try so hard to demoralize, to create cynicism, to separate us, because they know how powerful we are when we come together. So their only offense, when they know that our power is in our collective spirit, they know that their only offense is to make us be suspicious of each other, to make us say we are separate from one another, that this is Hawaii and that is the Bronx, when every single one of us is fighting to make that rent check at the end of the month. We can't ignore that. So we need to realize that together our collective mission, our collective power is the source of change. That is the source of change. And I know that out there in the Bronx, we're fighting for the same exact things that we're fighting out here in Hawaii. But I know that we can't get single payer in the Bronx unless we get single payer in Hawaii. We can't get tuition for public college for my nieces and nephews back home unless we get it out here in Hawaii too. Which is why when they tell me to stay home, I know that we can't stay home. That we have to come out with a spirit and our spirit as organizers. Because the only way that we do this is by pushing our momentum forward and putting each other first. Putting our neighbors first is how we're going to get this change done. So I want to thank you all, because what we are doing here today is not just about an election, but it is about a moral prerogative that we have to future generations. What kind of nation do we want to be? Because we're not going to rest on our laurels. It's not what nation were we in the past, it's what nation are we going to be in the future. And that is what we are deciding today. That is what we are deciding in New York. That is what we are deciding in Michigan. That is what we are deciding in this country. We need to decide who we want to be. And what we're here to say is that we are going to be a nation that takes care and provides health care for our families, educates its people, and we will look forward generations from now and tell our grandchildren that we saved the planet, that we allowed everyone to go see a doctor, that we provided tuition for public college, because we are the power and we fought for justice in the United States of America.